Hallelujah and Shabbat Shalom. And once again, thank you for joining Restoring the Branches Ministry. As we always say, it's a blessing to have everybody here live, but also anybody that might catch the video on YouTube or Facebook or however you watch. We're very thankful today, and as we always say, it's a special greeting, special blessing to the 12 tribes of Israel who are scattered abroad. As Apostle Paul, as Shaul says, to the Yahudim first, then to the Gentiles, and then to the nations. So it's always a special honor and a blessing to teach and preach the word to all the tribes of Israel, but to all of the creatures who have assembled themselves under the banner of Israel, which is Mashiach, which is Christ. So we will always say that because it's just true. It's biblical. All right, that there are those of us who are scattered and dispersed, and then there are some who have jumped on and rolled, or jumped on and led. So we're all being one body. But all praise to Yah, for He is good, He is true, His ways are good, and the power of the gospel can pull, can help, can save, can heal, can mend. But if I don't want to be right, if I don't want to get myself together, then the gospel means nothing to me. Salvation means nothing to me. I can see in the dark. That's why you have night animals. Their eyes are specifically made to see at night and see well. So the more I stay in darkness, my vision adapts to darkness. The gospel means nothing to me. But today, special day, right? Special time going into Pesach, and there has to be a beginning. So today we're going to talk about Abib, which would be in your Bible, it would be Abib. And then the Hebrew is Aviv. So we might have Abib in our Bible in the month, or the month of Abib, but it's actually Aviv. Okay, Aviv. So for our Hebrew students, we should see that. So this is Aviv or Abib, the perfect timing. Okay, perfect timing. We're going to look at some things today, and as we see that Yah, and the way time flows in and out and in is perfect. Because in the midst of time flowing this way and that way, then you got you. Right, me. So we're in the midst of all this time. We'll look at some things today. Yahshua is the author and finisher of our faith. Amen. Yes. He is the author and the finisher. He's the beginning or the ending. I think with Revelation it says the Alpha and the what? Omega. Right? For our Hebrew, that would be the Aleph and the Tav. Okay. So looking into Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before Him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of God. It's Hebrews 12 and 2. Okay, Hebrews 12 and 2. So before we get into the Aviv today, we want to look quickly at time. Time. Okay, and there are there's different times. All right, we have our general time. General time. There's a set time. There's an appointed time. There's an ending of time. There's a beginning of a time. So you have all these different variations of time. Okay, all aspects of time and the space in between are Yah's divine will. Okay, so all aspects of time, general, set, appointed, ending of a time, beginning of a time, these different aspects of time and the space in between the time. Time. 24-hour day is a time. At a certain point in the 24-hour day, I got to go to work. There's a time within a time. Within this 24-hour clock, there's a certain point where I get off work. Time. There's a certain point in this 24-hour day where I got to go to the grocery store. I'm going to get some lunch. So there's time within time. Okay? So all aspects of time and the space in between are in Yah's divine will. The fallen angels, humans, and creatures of the earth, time and freedom within it's Yah's time clock. So the angels, the fallen angels, the people, the creatures, all these aspects of time is Yah's time clock. He got multiple clocks. He got one clock, but it's a bunch of little clocks inside the one big clock. Amen. And within this big clock and all these little clocks is you and me. In the Greek, chronos, where you will get what? Chronological. Okay? All right, Acts 3 and 21. Let's turn to Acts 3 and 21 really quick. Acts 3 and 21. We talked about this a little bit during the feast, and we'll probably go back over it again at the right time. That's a little joke, folks. You know, that mess with some of y'all. So in Acts 3 and 21, whom the heaven must receive until the times of restitution of all things, which God has spoken by the mouth of all his holy prophets since the world began. So whom heaven must receive until the times of restitution. So Yahshua goes back up to the Shemaim, and then time must continue to roll. But at a specific time, he went up.
Yeah, he did.
So on Yah's clock, Yahshua goes up, but time continues to roll. Okay? Chronos time. Chronos time. Another example would be in Acts 7. We'll stay in the book of Acts. Acts 7, be in verse 23. Acts 7:23. And when he was a full 40 years old, it came into his heart to visit his brethren, the children of Israel. So we have an aspect of time, age. But when he got a certain age, the time changed. Does that make sense? When he got to 40, something changed. The way he was at 39 and 1 month was different than when he hit 40. Time changed. But there was a certain age, so there was a continual clock of time. He was 40 years old, but when he hit 40, something changed. It was the right time. So we have time within a time. Okay, we have just clearly he was 40 years old. Okay, full 40. Time. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, 40. The clock still's going, but at that specific time, some things changed with Moshe. He said, "Where am I?" He said, "I'm gonna go be with my people. I really suffer with my people." Some things changed with Moshe. So we have, and this is the Chronos time. Okay, Chronos time. All right, with our other time is Kairos. Kairos time. Let's turn to Matthew 8th chapter. Matthew 8th chapter. I just kind of want to go over this kind of quickly so that when we talk about time, and because we got to get into a time of what? Abib. Right? So we got, but before we get there, I want to look at time within time within time, looking at it from Yah's perspective. Right? As if we could be up on the heavenly realm looking down, you would have a different perspective than if you were here looking straight. You'd have a different perspective, right? Because one, you get it from his point of view. Multiple angles. Right? I'll tell you Matthew 8. Matthew 8 and 29. And behold, they cried out, saying, "What have we to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of God? Art thou come hither to torment us before the time?" Okay, Kairos time. Kairos time. It's Kairos time. So as in there will be a specific set time for tormenting or punishment of the rebellious angels. Okay? They was like, man, is the time already? It can't be. Right? But they're talking about Kairos, a specific time, not a chronological time. Not a chronos time, but a different time. But this same time is still within time. Hopefully in time, that makes sense. All right. Matthew 13 and 30. We're all familiar with this. Matthew 13 and 30. Matthew 13 and 30. Let both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, gather ye together, first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. So there will be a certain kairos time. So in one aspect of time, you let them grow. So we grow. We grow. We 40 years or 50 or 60 or whatever the time is. And then at a kairos time, the reapers come. And it's a very specific time, which is not the regular general time, but is a time within a time. And it's all on Yah's clock. And all the different aspects of time work for him. Okay? All right. So, now let's look at that. All right. The Hebrew or Hebraic concept of time. Genesis chapter 1. Genesis chapter 1. Genesis 1. We'll read in verse 14. And Yah said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night. Let them be for signs and seasons and for days and years. Okay. So moed can be appointed times, right? Appointments, meetings within general time. So this is a special time within regular time, right? We have our week. And within our week, we have a specific time to meet, to have an appointment, to come together. And that's within just regular time, okay? Because as we come out of this appointed time, time is still going, right? Time did not stop. Time continued to roll, okay? In Genesis 4 and 3, okay, so that was Meod. Genesis 4 and 3. We have two young men, Cain and Havel, two brothers. And in Genesis 4 and 3 it says, and in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. In the process of time. It is Ketz Yom. Now in our Tanakh, it's going to say Miketz Yamim. Miketz Yamim. Okay. Well, what is day in Hebrew? It's one of our vocabulary words. Yom. So when it becomes plural, we have Yamim. Okay. So in the process of time, or in the Ketz Yamim, Ketz, it means end of day, or end of time, or end of a year. Ketz. End of day, end of time, and end of year. We just looked in Genesis 1 and 14, and this Meod can mean for seasons, and that seasons it touched on to be for seasons and for days and years. Let it be for signs, for seasons, and for days, and for years. So Ketz Yom is end of day, time, year. Okay? A specific time. Or end of a time. Okay? Alright, Genesis 29 and 7. Genesis 29 and 7. I just put a part of the verse up there to help me remember. Then I realized I put it on the, PowerPoint. But Genesis 29 and 7. And he said, Lo, it is yet high day, neither is it time that the cattle should be gathered together. Water ye the sheep, and go and feed them. Okay? So the time is et. Okay? Just time. Just general time. Okay? Just general time. Just regular time. Okay? Alright, now, Job 7. Let's turn to Job 7. Job 7. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Job 7. And in Job 7, let's look at verse 1. Job 7:1. Is there not an appointed time to man upon earth? Are not his days also like the days of a hireling? Okay. This word is zavah. Zavah. Now we'll talk a lot more about this next Shabbat. But zavah generally means go forth. An army going forth. Yahshua coming back and the angels with them of chariots, zavah, they go forth. The children of Israel coming out of Egypt, zavah, go forth. When we're able to see the stars in the constellation, zavah, this huge host, huge number. Okay, the body of Christ in the right direction would zavah, would go forth. Right, but we're all over. I don't know what Hebrew would be for that. We're all over the place. You know. So zavah also, he uses that in Job 14:14. Job 14:14. If a man dies, shall he live again? All the days of my appointed time will I wait till my change come. A lot of days, a lot of good stuff in Job now. All right, but he's talking about zavah again. Okay, at this appointed time when man goes or changes or leaves this place. Okay, so we just looked at 4 different Hebrew words revolving around time. General time, end of a time, end of a day, end of a year, an appointed time, a set time within general time. And then we even looked at word zavah, to go forth, meaning a departure. Okay, now we say all that because it's the body of Christ aware. Right? What time is it? I don't know. I don't know. What was your last time? I can't remember. It's been a long night. What time is it? Abib. It's the time. New beginnings. Fresh start. New day. Life in order. This is what makes this time of year unique from all the other festivals, because before you get to those feasts, you start here. Mm-hmm. Before you get to any other feast, you start here. Deuteronomy 16:1. Observe the month of Abib and keep the Passover unto the Lord thy God, for in the month of Abib the Lord thy God brought thee forth out of Egypt by night. Mm-hmm. Okay? Now, we have 2 words highlighted, observe and keep. Mm-hmm. What do we think observe would mean in Hebrew?
Shema. Do it.
Shema? Do it? Well, what Hebrew would do it be? Nike. Nike, okay, that's Greek. Well, I mean, the Nike Air made it anyway. No, that's a whole nother topic. So observe again. Somebody said Shema. What else?
They may be the exact same word. Shamar.
Okay. I think this is.
But it went backwards, doesn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. Because
it's
highlighted this. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, you got a Tanakh. Grab a Tanakh right quick. Hang on a second. Well, Brother Aaron, you got your Tanakh on you, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Brother, let me see your Tanakh right quick. I didn't copy and print it that way, but that's what happened.
It does that sometimes.
Yeah, okay, so I'm going to read this in Hebrew here, but in the Hebrew for 16 and 1, we have Shemor et Hakadosh ha'aviv. Okay, Shamor et hakadosh ha'aviv. Okay, Shamar. They really messed this thing up. I didn't do it. Okay, so it's here it is, but you know, obviously we would be going this way. It's Hebrew, but I didn't do it anyway. So Shamor et ha'aviv chadosh. Okay, so Shamor is really what the root word will be. What Shamar. Okay, so to observe here is Shamar. Okay, to observe this, to keep watch, keep guard, right? Not to be like my man, okay? Not to be like my man here, okay? All right, but to shamar, to observe this month, okay? And then it says, and keep is va'asita, and that is in its regular form is esa, and that means do. So not only are you to watch for this aviv, you're to watch for this, to be ready, to be on guard, and then you also do Pesach. You do the Pesach. Okay, we do the Pesach, right? Elohecha lahava. Eloheka lahava, for your Lord, your God. Okay, you do this for Him. Okay, all you got to do is watch and be ready. That's it. Because He did a whole lot more in Egypt, didn't He? He showed up. He showed up and showed out, didn't He? Right, and for us, He showed up and showed out for what? Our sin, pulling us out. Okay. So He did the most of the work, right? All we got to do is watch, be ready, have a great time, eat some good grub, right? Okay. Now this same shamar is in Genesis 2:15, which was told to Adam, right? To shamar. Okay. So this commandment, He wants His people to shamar, to keep, to watch, to be observant, not to be like my guy. Hey man, what time is it? He don't want us to be like that. Okay, now in verse 2. Okay, in verse 2, and thou shalt sacrifice the Passover offering unto the Lord thy God of the flock and of the herd in the place which the Lord shall choose to cause His name to dwell there. Okay, so not only are you to observe and to watch this and to do it, but then you are to do it where I tell you to be. You are to observe this, you are to do this, and it is to be where I want you to be. That's what He said. Thou shalt sacrifice the Passover offering unto the Lord thy God, and the flock and the herd in the place. In the place. In the place which the Lord shall choose to cause His name to dwell there. So where we take Pesach matters. How do we know that? Because it was written. That's how we know. Not because somebody said so, but because it was written. So in the place is here, ba makom. Ba makom. Okay? Ba makom. In the place. Right? In the place. So He wants us to be where He's going to be. Or His presence is going to be. So it matters to Him. So we have some quick instructions. Observe it. Keep it. Do it. Watch for it. Be active. Participate in it. And then be where I want you to specifically be. Simple instructions. Okay. So we keep watch. We be active. Right. Then it's His choice. Right. It's His choice. Not our choice. His choice. So the beginning of the year starts off with Yah leading the way. Amen. We just kind of following. Kind of waiting. Because we know coming out of that 12th month, there was a lot of pressing and squeezing. And that I need a hand. I need a hand. It's tight. I'm sinking. I'm falling. I can't get up. And so we are to keep we are to observe and watch and be ready, because help is on the way. Because He never falls short. Why? Because this is a specific time within a time. Because the clock don't keep rolling whether you participate or not. But within that time, there will be a time, right, where you are to observe, to keep, to do, and to be where He wants you to be. Okay? Okay. Now, Aviv, these are the letters. Now, within Aviv, there is something written, or there's something telling us. Right? He didn't name the second month, did He? Third month, fourth month. I know there's some names in the scriptures, but that's when they came out of Babylon, and that wasn't a Yah thing. Yah specifically named one month. The first one, Aviv. Okay, Aviv. And within the Aviv, we have something. Av is what?
Father.
I'll put the answer right there for you. Father.
Thank you.
Okay, Av means father. Okay. Yod is symbolic for the what? Hand. And Bet means what?
House.
Tent, house, tabernacle, temple. So, father, hand, house. So the beginning of the year, I'm trying to take you somewhere, son. I'm trying to take you somewhere in the beginning. So regardless of how month 9, 10, 11, 12, if you just hang on, and if you observe, I'm going to take you somewhere. I make this promise every year. I make this promise every year. And regardless of whatever you were doing, or however you was living, or wherever you was at, if you're here, before I tell you to be, we're gonna start fresh. We're gonna start brand. And I'm trying to take you somewhere. Does he keep His word?
Amen.
He's not us. He keeps His word. So in the Aviv, we can see that in the beginning that Yah wants to, and so in the beginning of months, numbering the months 1 through 2, in the beginning, I want to take you somewhere. Now at month 12, if you end off over in Kathmandu, that's your deal. But that ain't where I led you.
Amen.
That's what we talked about last week, though, right? That's what we talked about last week, though, right? About, remember how we had that one son who was like, man, Dad, let me get all my stuff. I want to get out of here. I want to go see what's out here. And he went. And he had to return. Had to start over. And Yah's like, look, some people stay within their time. Some journey off on the time clock. But he says, hey, if you come back, okay, we can start afresh. But you got to stay with me. Okay? Salvation. This Aviv signifies Him taking us somewhere. It was established as a plan to reveal salvation to them and us. It was a plan to reveal salvation. Let's turn to Exodus. Yeah, chapter, I think 14. Let's look at 14 and 13. If not, we'll figure it out. Yep, Exodus 14 and 13.
It's gonna all be backwards.
Why does it do that?
It's a word. It's just word doc.
Oh, because it changed.
You changed the format.
Oh.
So it's okay. Don't worry about it. But while you're looking at that, turn your thing. Turn your thing.
What's that?
That. Yes, thank you, because everybody can't see. Okay.
All right.
It's all good.
Yeah, Brother Aaron gave me this tonight, so
Okay.
so I'll be in his tonight. I like this to knock this. It's fresh. It's all right though. With this lesson 2 in the Hebrew coming up, we put a lot of work in it now. And them sections is just nothing but Hebrew. Exodus 13 and 14. No, I'm sorry, 14 and 13. Excuse me. Okay, so, and Moses said to the people, "Fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will work for you today. For whereas ye have seen the Egyptians today, you shall see them again no more forever." Okay, so remember Aviv. So in the time of Aviv, the father hand, and we will say just house. He's trying to take them somewhere. And in the midst of taking them somewhere, there was a situation. There's water here. And if you're like me, I can't swim. So I got some flippers. I'm all right with some flippers. Swim like a fish. Water, Egyptians. Water, Egyptians. Water, Egypt. Where Moses, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him today, and then I'm going to try to beg for my life. Just take me back to Egypt. Now, he says specifically, "Fear ye not, stand still, and see the salvation." Okay? I mean, it really just butchered up.
You highlighted in red.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be like, it's supposed to be together.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not together. Okay, so in verse, I'm looking at Tanakh here, 14 and 13, and we have Vayomer. No. Sorry, y'all. Did not know I was going to do that. Okay. So we have Uru et Yashuat Yaesher. So Yashuat, Yah is the salvation of Lord. Okay, Yashuat, Yahshua, Yah or Yahweh or Yahava or Yahweh. Okay, Yashuata or Yashuat, Yahweh or Yashuat, Yahweh is the self, and they're seeing this. They're seeing this. Now, what did they see? Did they see him or the work of him? Or could they not see because there's water in Egyptians? And I'm in such an emotional roller coaster that I'm really not seeing. I'm not what? Fear ye not. Well, I'm petrified, number one. So he's saying, fear ye not, I'm petrified.